Okay, folks, it's morning again, and it's time for the heavy lift. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take the nut off of here, and I'm going to retape these threads just to protect them while we lift the assembly back in there. Give me one sec. Okay, that's done. Leave a little piece of tape sticking out. That way, when you get the clutch basket on there, you can grab this and it'll come off with everything in the way. Then you're not digging in there with a pick or something trying to get it out. Just like that. Now it's time for the heavy lift. And Punky has abandoned me, but my lovely wife is here to give me a hand. So thank God for that. Okay, let's go. Okay, we got that in there. Just grab that little tab of that tape, pull it off, it'll just unroll. Take that right out of there. Make sure you line up the Woodruff key. I've put a mark with my kid's sidewalk chalk again. Make sure that key lines up. Make sure you're on the splines. This bolt has to come through. This slides to the bottom, locks in like that, and then you slide it up. Oh, there we go. Now we'll put the compensator back on. Install the compensator. Just like that. There we go. Washer. And the Teflon nut. There we go. Now the clutch basket. Clutch throw rod. We're going to give that a little dunk in the oil. You see, there's a little ball bearing in there. That goes towards this end. The side faces out. Just give that a dunk in the oil. Okay. Carefully. That goes right in there. Just like that. And our reverse thread nut. There we go. Remember what I said? If you feel any resistance, stop. There's something wrong. You don't want to mess up one of those reverse threads. They're very fine. They should go on there easily till they bottom out, just by hand. Okay, I did kind of forget to record a step here, and I guess it's pretty important. On the main crank bolt here on the compensator, and on this guy here on the clutch basket, you want to add 2 drops of red Loctite. And it's important. And if you look here, you also want to clean out, this is the old Loctite that came out of those threads on the nut. You can see some of it there. I don't know why it's not red, but whatever. But you want to get that out of there, just so it's easier on the threads, and this can bind and give you an incorrect torque reading. So just for the sake of saying so, I'm going to take the compensator nut back off, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. Give me one sec. Okay, going to clean that back out. The rag. You can see in there. Come on, focus. There you go. You want to get those threads nice and clean like that. so that it doesn't bind and you get good torque readings. Because if it says 120 and it's binding, it might only be 90, and if it starts coming out of there, well, bad things can happen at 100 miles an hour. So what you do, is take a dental pick, and you just very carefully go in the threads like that. Just turn it gently. You're not going for broke here. You just, it comes out pretty easily. When it's dry, it's very crusty, it's brittle. It just pops right out of there. You just turn it gently. Work your way down the threads. Just kind of come right out of there. That's just perfect right there. Take 2 drops of our red Loctite. 1 and 2. That's all it needs. Sorry I skipped that, folks. I'm trying to get everything here, but there's a lot to it. Now we're going to tighten that down. These ones on this model are 150 to 165, so we're going to put her right in the middle around 155, 156. Let's do it. Okay, that was a lot of work, that puppy. 156, 57 foot-pounds I put on it. It actually ate my old high-tech block of wood. I had to make a new one. Yeah, she kind of chewed it up. And that's why you use a block of wood and not a piece of metal or something like that. Don't jam something in there like that. You use wood, it won't hurt those sprocket teeth a bit. It'll just chew the wood up, obviously. Won't do a bit of damage to those. They're really hard steel. Okay, now this one. Now we're going to torque our clutch basket. And this one between 50 and 60 foot-pounds. Remember, reverse thread. So we're going to go right in the middle at 55. Give me 1 second. Now our plate. Give this a little oil. Some on the end of the shaft. Okay, there we go. And our lock ring. Slipped out there. Now be careful with these suckers. There we go. There we go. That's in there. And you want to make sure these are properly seated all the way to the back. And the way you do that, where did I put it now? Take a flathead screwdriver and your rubber mallet and just give it just some gentle taps. Not too hard. This one's seated, so I really got nowhere to go here, but just showing you. Just tap it and make sure it's all the way in the seat so it doesn't pop out of there when you push the clutch. Alright, we're going to have to adjust the clutch. I had to back this off, and we'll do that at the end. Let's get the rest of it together. Okay, adjusting the primary chain tension. You want to take this. Should have about a 1/2 inch play up or down. Bottom, a little less. As we drive this, it'll kind of self-adjust. And we'll have to adjust it again once we've driven it a little bit. All you really want to do is make sure that chain can't come up and slap the underside of this case, because that would be very bad. But this is in the ballpark. That'll get us going. We're just going to tighten that Teflon nut down. Don't use any Loctite on that. It's Teflon. I'll be right back. Thrust washer. Jack shaft. Right on there. Clean our mating surfaces one last time. Make sure they're dry and clean. Looks pretty good. And the case. Okay, go ahead and add a little RTV, not too much. You make a bigger hole in this thing. There we go. Just the thinnest coat. Wipe most of it off. Don't make a mess. Don't just gooped all over the place. Just a thin coat. It'll help hold the gasket in place while we install the outer primary case. Put our new gasket on there. Just kind of press that down. You can line that up really good with that RTV on there. And that's what I mean. It's got line-up pegs, but on the bottom, these tend to droop while you're installing them. And if you don't catch it or pop it back up into place, that can cause a leak. So that should do it. Let's put her on the bike. We don't have to RTV the bike side. It looks reasonably good. We probably should, but these aren't that hard to get off. I was really tempted to use this other gasket that came off the bike. It didn't seem to be leaking at all, and it looks really well built, but Carl's got a brand new one. Let's put it on. There we go. Case is on. Let's go ahead and start putting the case bolts back in, just loose, and we'll tighten them in stages. As you can see, if you don't go crazy with that stuff, it doesn't come gooping out. You just got to be careful. Like I said, take your time. Go around, give them their final tightening. One, two, three, four, all the way up here, five, that's that. Okay, we're going to adjust the clutch. And how you do that, loosen this nut off here. You want to turn this in gently, just till it bottoms out, just till you feel it, just like that. Don't drive it home, just till it bottoms out. A good rule of thumb for these to start with is half to a full turn out. And we're going to lock this nut down there. Take it for a drive and see how it feels. If it's slipping, we'll adjust it a little more, but that should get us in the ballpark. So let's do that. So we're going to go half a turn out, maybe just a little more. Spin that down. You're going to hold on to this while you tighten that. I need both hands. Give me 1 sec. Okay, there we go. Let's put the inspection plate back on. Remember, we will have to adjust this. We might. We probably will. Right after we drive it a little bit. We're going to have to put a few miles on it. let the chain move around a bit, and then we'll set it perfect. Okay, that's on there. Let's go around. Just give them a final. Yeah, this one. Final snugging. There we go. Let's fill her up. Transmission. 0.9 of a liter, 9/10 of a quart. Check that. Okay, I totally overfilled that. By about half a liter. So we're gonna have to let a little bit of that out of there, and we will. But yeah, she's obviously not leaking out anymore. She's not going anywhere. I don't want to blow the seals out of it when I'm driving it, so yeah, I will actually have to let that out of there. I know it doesn't look like much, but yeah, it says do not overfill for a reason. Okay, well, this one we can overfill because we basically just go until we start to make a mess. There we go. Look at that, I figured out how to do it with one hand. Okay, give me a sec. That's a good sign. That thing is dry as a bone. I'm finished topping her up now, because now I kind of have to overflow it. Put the derby cover back on. Let's go around and final tighten on those. Gonna go ahead and change our kickstand spring. Get that working a little better. There's our old one, and there's our new one. You can see this one's just a little bit longer. This should give us a little more spring pressure and keep that thing from bouncing around so much. Okay, let's get that on there. Well, I'll tell you, that one had a lot more spring pressure on it. There she is. She looks cool. Works good. Let's get the floorboards on. Looks nice and tight. There we go. Now the shifter. Bushing. I'm going to put a little grease in there. I'm going to put a lot of grease in there. Now just clean that all off. Right. This configuration seemed to be pretty comfortable when I drove it last time, so we're going to stick with that. Boy, it's sure shifting nice now. You can do it with your hand like that. Oh, there's neutral. Huh? That's pretty slick now. Tighten those up. There we go. Fresh grease in there. There we go. Well, if you remember it from before, boy, oh boy, that's sure an improvement. Now the exhaust system, as you can see, Well, we've got them off the bike. It's a great time to clean them. Sorry I got my greasy mitts on them there. I actually had them in my hand. I figured I might as well show how clean they are. And you flip them over to the back side. This is a side that you can't get at unless you have them off the bike. So we did it then. My wife helped me out there. She did it. She's a whiz at that. She can really make that chrome shine. She's a keeper, boys. Well, everybody, that's about it for tonight. Got a little bit of assembly left. I'm going to put the boxes back on. I got to adjust the back wheel so she's true and straight with the bike, because we took it off and we got to adjust it now. And there's some minor stuff. I'll get the rest together and hopefully pretty soon we'll be test driving this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.